Next up here is Aapl. A couple plays that I made today. I actually did not put one of them on here. It was in some option calls that actually did not work out. But first things first, the open created another failed breakout. Basically the same thing it did back here. Gapped up above level, failed to hold, and sold off. This one actually had follow through, which led to another leg down. Yesterday's price action was just really choppy again around the 8-period exponential moving average on the daily time frame. Today was another false breakout to the upside, but with zero follow through. And I'll refer to that as a failed failure. Basically, it failed to break out and then failed to follow through, which in turn caught the bears on the wrong side of the trade. Noticed some squeezing of the price action here into this little doji cross candle at around 10 o'clock, and got a decent spike in volume. Basically, as soon as this candle closed, noticed the tape speeding up, went ahead, took a position actually just over this candle. Didn't get the greatest fill. I wanted to get it around 153.21. Missed it by a couple of pennies, but that's a couple of pennies, but that does add up over time. Anyways, going forward, ended up being the perfect spot to get in off of a potential support bounce. Like I said, a failed failure. Didn't see the price continuing down. Came up, and at this point I also got into some 155 weekly calls at about 16 cents, I think it was, and trailed the stop up to pretty close to break even, and then they triggered me out once it took so long for price action to move. I actually got taken out around 10:45ish, even though price went up, because they were so far out of the money and there's only 1 day left on the contracts. The contract prices didn't move at all. Now later on in the day up here, they actually did go up to about 32 cents. So had I been willing to hold through that, it would have been a great trade, but as it turns out, was not. Anyways, my commons got stopped out up here at 153.88. Ended up being a decent little 55-cent gain on a few hundred shares, so ended up being profitable there overall. I'm going to go ahead and get these levels off of the chart here and take a look at what I will be planning out for tomorrow. Now that it appears that we are putting in a little bit more of some consolidation, possibly getting poised for another move up, testing this trend line here from the previous high of 156.65, pushed above, consolidated above, kind of put in somewhat of a flag formation, and then failed to actually continue higher into the close. So a lot of those things just tell me that it's still not as strong as it could be. It is consolidating at a known trendline resistance. This one no longer pertains to the chart, but I will keep this one up on here. Now, what I will be looking towards trading tomorrow is a move above a more intermediate trend of basically 115.14, and I want to see basically price get back up into this wedge and continue higher. Now, if it does do that, initial entry on the open will be above 154.16, and the stop will be just on the other side of that wedge. And just like here, this would essentially be a failed breakdown and looking for a failure in that movement down, and then continuation up. I want to see it test at least this opening range high, or excuse me, the weekly highs over here. Now I keep saying in the option players chat room, we did have a potential momentum hammer last week, but price action is caught in the dead center of this overall range. If it closes this way, there's definitely people going to be trapped in the trade, and they will be scrambling to get out on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week when the market opens, and will likely lead to a fairly substantial move. It's a very tight range here in a weekly basis, and it just seems like there's going to be somebody caught. And we got another indecision candle here in an overall bullish chart and a very bullish market. So a lot of things are still pointing towards bullish momentum moving up, and no reason to be short at this point. A couple other levels in case it does go back and pull in a little bit more. I will be looking at 151.5 for support here, and of course 150 level as well. I don't see that happening tomorrow, although it is Friday into a long weekend, so I will keep that in mind as well. This will be my plan going forward. Basically one trade set up for the open. Good luck.